You intro. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not intended for entertainment purposes. Today we are going to take a look at a couple of subject matters, and one we're going to take a look at is, well, Mr. T is making some big plans for the coming 250th anniversary of the American Dream. And one of the new things he's announced is that they are going to do something. Well, I'll read this article title to you. It says, Trump's high schooler Patriot Games draws Hunger Games comparisons. So Trump came out and said that he was going to have two high schoolers, a male and a female, from every state in the United States and bring them to Washington, to the White House, or White Horse. I mean White House. I'm sorry, White Horse. I get that mixed up sometimes. And he said that they were going to go there and they're going to compete head to head in uh, physical matches of some kind. I don't know. They haven't said exactly what it's going to entail, but they're having high school children go and compete against each other straight out of the Hunger Games script, literally. So we're going to look at that a little bit, talk about that a little bit. We're also going to look at something that a lot of you probably never heard of. And to be honest, I hadn't heard of it, but I ran across it, and it's called the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. I'll read it again. The International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. And yeah, it's an organization that is funded by Eastern Star, which is funded by the Freemasons, that recruits 11-year-old to 21-year-old girls into this Freemasonic system. Yeah, exactly. The International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. So we're going to look at their website just a little bit, and we're going to discuss some things about the rainbow, like somewhere over the rainbow, or the rainbow in the movie Alice in Wonderland, or the Yellow Brick Road, or the rainbow in Wizard of the Oz. That's along the lines of where they're talking about it. We're talking about like preparing the minds of young girls, 11 years old to 21 years old, that they recruit into this group, preparing them for something. What do you reckon they're really preparing them for? Could be a lot of things, right? But I happen to smell a rat. And this is actually an international organization. It's in every state. They have an order, a building, and where they go meet and they do whatever they're doing. And so we're going to look at that as well. And then also we have a special guest today. As you can see on the screen, it says Jeremiah. Jeremiah is with us, and he's going to be kind of a guest co-host today, you might say, because until Shannon shows up, at least, because Shannon is working, and but she'll be here shortly. I think she's going to be able to make it for a little bit. I kind of delayed the show a little bit so that she would have a chance to maybe get here. And Roxy's not feeling good today, so you're stuck with me, Jeremiah, Super Dave, and Super Mike in the comments. And apparently Anonymous Legion and a few others are getting really good at showing up. So that's awesome. So with that said, let's go ahead and say hi to Jeremiah, and we'll talk with or look at these different subject matters and let him tell his supernatural events that have happened in his life. But can you hear me, Jeremiah?
Hey, Daniel, can you hear me, sir?
I sure can. Jeremiah
Okay,
and I
excellent.
had a good chance to have a little bit of conversation before we got going and everything. Y'all guys can actually join in on that if you want to when we're doing the supernatural show. When it's just me doing the Logic Before Authority, it's really just me here. But y'all guys can actually see and hear what's going on prior to the shows by joining us on the website, the supernatural.show website, and going into the Beyond the Veil area. And that's an area where it's live. It's just not on YouTube yet. And we're normally talking about whatever we want to talk about, and a lot of times it has to do with the content and getting to know a guest like Jeremiah today. And but y'all guys can join in. You don't even have to be a member to go over and check out the pre-show. It's called the Beyond the Veil pre-show. And so, with that being said, Jeremiah, I'm glad you're here, brother.
Oh, well, thank you for having me today, Daniel. Hello, everybody. What's up, Super Dave, Super Mike? I've been listening pretty much since the inception of Supernatural show because I came over from Logic of Authority, and so
Nice.
I've been listening to how this has grown over the last little while, and that's been pretty nice. And I don't really participate in the chat very often. I don't catch a lot of live shows, but I'm oftentimes catching a rewatch or else just kind of hanging out listening while I do something, you know. But thank you for having me on today, and I
You're
am
welcome.
excited to discuss some things. I took out my notebook and I used a real pencil and a real notebook and I wrote in real cursive big boy writing. I wrote down some things and it was not easy and the results are not pretty, but I did come prepared and I'm glad we got a couple of little news things too.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna cover just a couple of little subject matters real quick, and then we'll go on into discussing and letting you really take the mic and explain to us things that have happened in your life, things you've noticed, whatever it is. And like I always say to everybody, all we want to hear is the truth. We don't care how crazy it sounds because we happen to be on the Supernatural show. So we get to tell crazy stories if they're true. So I encourage Jeremiah before the show, just go for it and don't worry about what anybody thinks. Don't worry about what anybody might say because we don't take nothing personal here, and we allow people to say what they want. Y'all guys can join in doing this too as well. You can even be a guest on the show or share your supernatural story. All you have to do is go on the website over at the supernatural.show website. And as you can see here, you can come here and click on submit story right up at the top, submit story. And it gives you the option of saying that you would like to come on to be a guest. And that's what Jeremiah did, I believe. And so here Jeremiah is with us today. So feel free to go on there and just tell your story, and you can just write it out, or you can say, I got a lot, kind of give us a little idea of what you're talking about, but then say you'd like to be on the show, and we'll get a hold of you and have you on the show as well. So again, thank you, Jeremiah, for taking the time to come here and spend a little time with us today. Let's go
Well,
ahead
thank you again for having me.
You're very welcome. We're glad to have you. So, what comes to mind when you read this article here? Trump's high school repatriate games draws Hunger Games comparison. What do you reckon's going on there in your mind?
Uh, for me, it is sort of just another headline to get people. You know, another headline about an event to excite one side of people and kind of
Make another side
divide the
mad.
other side to be not excited, but also very angry.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's sort of the 24-hour news cycle is like a 10-minute news cycle now, so they have to go ever bigger to maintain all of our
Mm-hmm.
attention. You know.
Yep. Exactly.
Also, I think it's interesting to note I've been paying just a little attention to people talking about this ballroom that they're building at the side of the White House, you know, and that it's sort of to me it's a little interestingly timed to like you know you
Oh,
tear that down
a little
and
suspect, ain't it?
apparently there's right. Apparently, there's some other things connected to that area that you'd be able to access better for removing that. And you know, with the state of the world, you know, I I don't know that that's where I wouldn't want to have any place nearby the ground zero for what I would presume to be, you know, what they'd be prepared for. But
Right.
if I was going to have to do it, I'd want it to be brand new and state of the art.
Right.
You know.
Did you know that too, Jeremiah, that they're going? that Trump is renaming the Kennedy Center. You know, the JFK Kennedy Center that's there in Washington.
Hmm.
He's renaming it to the Trump Kennedy Center.
Oh, nice. I suppose that's to be expected.
Yeah, I guess if you can rename water, you know, like the Gulf of Mexico,
Right.
if you can name it Gulf of America and just change it by one man's whim, and everybody goes along with it. But it does give you an indication of how willing people are to go along go along with anything they see as their mentor, their leader, their God, even with anything that he says. It's just like it's amazing how much people will just go along with it. And so I imagine they will probably change the name to the Trump Kennedy Center. And speaking in reference to the ballroom, or did I say Bell? I think I meant Bell. The Bell Room that they're rebuilding. If you look at the Temple of Solomon, the floor plan for the Temple of Solomon, and you look at the floor plan for the Bell Room, you'll notice that they're almost identical. And
Interesting.
yeah, they're pretty much identical in the layout of the floor plan as to what they've released, anyways. And who knows what they're actually going to do? But well, they're up to it, that's for sure. And
Right.
then they're
Always.
spending money like like a drunk rich man in a strip club. You know, we're supposed to be broke, trillions and trillions in debt, but just it doesn't matter. Let's spend
Right.
$600 million or $700 million and rebuild uh, a building that's already there, but we're going to tear it down and rebuild it at the White House. And of course, there's probably a lot more to really what's actually going on there. You know, because when they built the Twin Towers, and then everybody knows what happens to those. You know, when they built it, they prepared it and built it in a way because they knew what was going to happen later on. And I know
Hmm.
somebody listening probably won't agree with that they knew, but they knew. I hate to give you the bad news. But
You
anyways,
know,
yeah,
I've heard over the years. I'm sorry to interrupt, sir.
nope, go for it. Go for it. You're the co-host today.
All right. Oh, all right. Well, in that case, I take it back and I'll save that sorry for when it matters.
Yeah, there you go.
I have heard so much over the years now. I'm 44, so I graduated high school in the year 2000, and the events of the next year were are that was the where were you with JFK situation, like maybe even more than the JFK situation, just because of broadcast journalism and the amount of exposure, in real time. But I've heard enough stories over the years, and granted, it's stories. I've heard enough stories over the years of the big city life of how they may design many, if not most, or however you want to look at it, that to design these giant buildings to fall into a small footprint to prevent collateral damage or whatever. To
Mm-hmm.
believe that, like, what if to entertain the idea, like maybe like what if they made it so all those buildings would do that just so they could do that on 9/11, or
Mm-hmm. Well,
that
I know
that
for
day.
sure they built, you know, building 1 and 2 and building 7, you know, the 47 story tall building that nothing hit. Uh, you know, they certainly built those buildings exactly so they would fall the way they did, you know. And I don't know if it's built into a lot of other buildings like that. Because that those buildings were pretty special, you might say. And then they took down
Right.
those two and put one up in its place and winded it together. And you've probably heard me,
Uh-huh.
Jeremiah, say what that is it's the destruction of the man and woman
Right.
and putting them back together again, like the Garden of Eden. It's taking the man and woman and putting them back together again. It's called, the name they've got for it,
Hmm.
of course, is transhumanism and some other fancy names. But yeah. So let's see.
Right.
Let's go
It's
ahead.
like an alchemical process that we don't understand that happens that they have to tie all that into, I suppose.
Yep. Yep. They got to ritualize everything and harvest the human's energy and permission in order to go along with it, I suppose, is how they operate. Now, I
And
did say,
you'd think it'd be nice if you could harvest energy if they could harvest the good energy, and then you could just go, well, hey, go do a bunch of good stuff and we can harvest this energy.
it would
Like
work.
everybody be okay with them collecting the energy if it was like not pain and suffering
Yeah.
and fear and all that, you know?
And it's just as possible. If you can harvest the darkness, you can harvest the light. And I don't know if I like the word harvest when you're talking harvesting the light, but you can, it can be used for the opposite, because if one opposite
Right.
exists, the other opposite is there as well. So yeah,
Exactly.
if we
Maybe
could
not
ever
harvest, but direct. Like you could push
direct,
the good energy somewhere, you know?
you know, you know, and that's exactly what the opposite of what they want to do, of course, and they're doing a pretty good job at it.
Yes,
They're
sir.
they're doing it. So I mentioned that we were going to look at real quick too the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. And like I said, it's an organization that's funded by Eastern Star, which is funded by the Freemasons. Um, and I just ran across this, so I haven't looked through everything here, you might say. But I have looked at a couple things, like, let's see if this is the image I'm thinking about. Or maybe this was it. No. They, they, uh, they say that a lot of famous girls come from here, and they show you pictures of astronauts and like this girl here. I think she was the one that went up in the space shuttle and it went boom, and then they claimed that her and some others died, and none of that ever happened. The space shuttle might have blew it up, but none of the people died, of course. But they're promoting this worldwide, this organization, and drawing in girls from all around the world. In every state, there's a international order for the rainbow for girls. And I find the name just really strange. I find the logos very strange. Like, look at this one here. Let me see if I can open this one up. Yeah, here we go. Look at that one. That's from their website. So you got,
Fascinating.
of course, you got the prism, the triangle with the rainbow shining out of it, and then domed in red, white, and blue, of course. And then you've got two hands doing a Freemasonic handshake, as you can see here. And then it's bound by a chain that is chained to a pot of gold. I mean, how weird can you get? Apparently, you can get pretty weird when it comes to the symbolism that the Freemasons use on a regular basis. But when I was talking to Jeremiah before the show, I hadn't planned on doing it, but it made me think about, this rainbow and the girls thing. It made me think about the movie Eyes Wide Shut. And in the movie Eyes Wide Shut, there's some scenes in there that are tied directly to the rainbow and young girls. Like in this scene right here, I'm going to mute the audio and I'm just going to play the little snippets of it so that we don't get a copyright on this. But just check out this little scene here. This is when Tom Cruise, which is going by the name of Bill, his real name was William, William, and his wife's name was Alice, like Alice in Wonderland. Okay. And so he's looking for a costume, a tuxedo actually, for a secret party he's going to. Most all of you have seen Eyes Wide Shut or know of it at least. But let's see what the name of the place is he's going to. tuxedo rental, costume rental, rainbow shop. It says under the rainbow. And yeah, that's the name of the costume shop. And you wouldn't think that's necessarily so interesting, but it is. It is. It really is. It's tied to the reason why they use the rainbow for the organization, the international organization of the rainbow for the girls. It's tied to it. It's all symbolic. Let's play a little bit more and see, because there's a scene obviously that comes up here in a moment. Let's see if I can jump forward a little bit without getting a copyright, because we don't need none of those. They're not good for the channel at all. All right, come on, come on, come on. He's trying to get in the door, get his tuxedo. And here comes Mr. Creepo, letting him in the door, negotiating. And of course, y'all
I think it's
guys,
very interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
know what's very interesting.
I think it's very interesting. The guy's name is Will I Am, so I am Will. And the
Mm-hmm.
whole movie, his character thinks he's doing all this free will stuff, but the entire time, for all I can tell or all I know, every single person that he interacts with or even is in a room with, whether they acknowledge him or not, is in on it, you know? They
Uh-huh.
all are part of it. And then
Uh-huh.
on like a larger scale, he is an actor, and so all of the extras in the movie, well, that's what they're doing too. They're pretending like they're supposed to be there, but they're just extras, you know? So the movie makes that commentary on itself, but also that he thinks he's got free will, but it's just these people behind the scenes are, he might walk into a room, but they were in the room already for him before he got there. So where's the free will at,
Yeah.
you know?
The entire movie is based on presenting this guy, uh, William, or Bill. They're presenting him choices. The
Hmm.
entire movie is based on presenting him choices and seeing
It
which
could only,
choices he makes.
like it could only be more interesting if it was revealed at the end of the filming that Tom Cruise was not even in on it all himself. You know what I mean? Like if it was like, oh, it was a surprise. He didn't even know that's what this movie was.
Right. Now, it's interesting to mention it to Jeremiah before we started that, as you can see, there's a Christmas tree in here. It's Christmas time, and this costume shop also just happens to sell uh, cages. See the cage here? You know, probably I never noticed it before, but I'm noticing it now. They sell cages. Looks like cages
You know,
for humans, and they
roughly
just
human
happen to.
size.
Yeah, that's human size with a human size door. But it's Christmas time, and Christmas time is they picked it specifically, of course, because most human beings during the Christmas time era, they're willing to reject reality for a fantasy world. They're even willing to do things because it's just the way that it's always been done. Like spending all your money giving gifts to people who really don't appreciate it, and you're going into debt. Running up credit cards and stuff, and it's just because I have to, because it's always been done. It's expected, and other people expect it, and if you don't get them a Christmas present, then they're looking down upon you or something like this. It's just layers and layers of insanity. Okay, well, that
Oh
explains.
wow! Or even the imagining and pretending of everybody come back home and pretend that we're like everything used to be again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yep,
like a heavy delusion.
he goes out to all these places in this movie, and then he goes back home, and he's trying to. It's like he's bouncing inside and out of reality, just like people do at Christmas time, or Halloween when they put on the masks and they take on another persona and pretend to be something else for a little while. Let's see. I'm going to try to jump forward a little bit more here. see what we can see. Not necessarily decoding a movie, but I can't help it when I'm looking at a scene. Of course, we got a lamp here that is in the image of a tree. Yeah, you know, I could go on and on about that probably. Let's keep going here. Of course, there's a point here where he's talking with this guy, and I think it's coming up here pretty quick, where this man's daughter comes running out, and then there's two older Asian men that come running out, and it becomes pretty obvious what is going on. And it's, he owns the Rainbow Shop, and what he's doing is he's pimping out his daughter and likely pimping out other girls as well. Underage girls, no less. Two rich and famous people who come in here and, that he deals with. And then you've got the international order for the Rainbow for girls. And you wonder, and you probably don't really need to wonder too much of exactly what's going on there. Are they taking these girls and they select different ones out of them that they gather together, and they basically hand them off to certain men and women, of power? Pretty positive that is what exactly is going on with the rainbow, the order of the Rainbow for girls.
At this point, if I were to find out that's exactly what is happening, I wouldn't be even a little surprised.
Right.
Not even a little.
Now here he goes in this little room and he sees all this Chinese food in here, and he's like, what's going on? Because there was something going on behind his back that he didn't realize, and there's a discarded outfit, and of course he's finding out that there's things going on in his shop that he didn't authorize. Now he's complicit with it, but this particular situation was going on that he didn't, from my understanding, from looking at it, he didn't actually know or authorize what was being done. So where is this? Oh, there is his, she was hiding behind the couch with another Asian man with a wig on. And
I feel like it would also be implied that some of the people that might be wearing these wigs may not even be necessarily young women or girls even.
very possibly. I mean, when I was looking at some of the photos of the Rainbow for girls, to be honest with you, I was thinking some of these girls don't look like girls, unless you accept what they claim a girl looks like these days. Here's the
Right. New ones.
the famous scene of her going over there hiding behind Dr. Beale, because he played a doctor in the movie. Supposedly he was a doctor. But there's another scene as well in the movie. We're going to take a look at that, and then we're going to get on to Jeremiah telling us some experiences he's had in his life. Let me pull this scene back up. I had it ready, but apparently we're having to reload it here. So there's this scene, of course, Dr. Beale, Dr. Will.I.am, is feeling real confident. He's at this big party with some famous people, and he's got these two girls, which are members of the Order of the Rainbow, likely, and they've been taught how to handle men that are upcoming men of a little bit of power or money. He's a doctor, he's got a little money, got a beautiful wife, but these girls know and have been taught exactly how to handle him. And I would highly suspect that's what's going on. And in this scene, there's a reference to the rainbow as well. Because, Mr. Dr. Will.I.am here, he's a married man. And he's presented as being faithful at this point. But yet he's being handled, I must admit, when I was younger, if I had two beautiful girls, one on each arm, it's intoxicating to the ego. And girls that have been trained in it would, I'm not saying I ever experienced girls that were trained in it, but even your average girl knows how to manipulate a man in general. But you would typically be mush in their hands. And he's trying to resist, but they're going to come to a point here. And let's see if we can actually hear it, if I can get that to pause. They ask him a question. Let's see here. It's not playing through the studio. It's just going to be picked up on my mic. So hopefully y'all guys can hear it okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Do they miss? You're probably right. Now, ladies, where exactly are we going?
So he asks, where exactly are we going? Because they're handling him and taking him somewheres, in which this whole movie was about, taking them somewheres. And what is the rainbow? You know, you follow the rainbow to get to the pot of gold, right? Or follow the yellow brick road, you know, in order to get to where it is that they want you to go, because they want you to do certain things and they want to see what rules, what morals you're willing to break. This is generally how Hollywood works. And
Right, that treasure has a big shiny gold chain attached to it.
yep, sure does. And I highly suspect that's what these girls are being modeled for. In probably different categories, but definitely some girls that would be modeled to be handlers, and a lot of different roles, you know, that come up. Check out this chick here on the front, here on the left. That look like a girl to anybody? Hate to say it, but that's, whew. Anyways, I guess I shouldn't be mean.
Yeah, I mean,
But I didn't pull up this image for her,
great.
but I just happened to notice. It looks like,
He's got a great personality.
yeah, he does. And I'm looking at the size of his shoulders compared to the size of his head. See, with a man, you can fit 3 heads on the shoulders. So, will this head fit on this shoulder and on this shoulder? If it does, the shoulders are wide enough. It's a man. If it's a woman, let's look at another one here somewhere. Let's see. Let's go down
At this
here.
point in the game, I would think they might even put the shoulder floofy things on there just to throw it off from the ones that
Might
have
throw it
extra
off a
wide
little bit,
shoulders.
yeah. But you can see this girl here, and all human body proportions are the same. At least natural humans, they're all the same. This is why you can walk into any clothing store in the world and buy clothing, and if you get the right size, it's going to fit. It's because they know
Right.
what the body proportions are. Now, this girl's head, you could only fit 2 heads across her shoulders. It's pretty clear to see. You could fit one head here and one head here, and her shoulders are full. But our other participants here look like you might could fit another head over here and over here, and even with this one, of course, too, as well. And we know that, like, things like Obama, his husband Michael, that's a real thing. Most people are actually aware of that at this point. And most of your presidents throughout time are married to men. Now, some people would say, well, Trump's got a woman. I would say, are you sure?
Maybe.
Are you sure?
Right.
Is what
How
I
about
would
that?
say. So let's go back to our video here, and let's see if we can hear where they're taking him.
Exactly. Where the rainbow.
They're taking him to where the rainbow ends. Okay. Yeah, they're taking him to where the rainbow ends, is what she says. And I think they say it again.
Where the rainbow ends.
Don't you want to go where the rainbow ends?
Don't you want to go where the rainbow ends, as they paw at him? So they're checking, these are handler girls, and they're checking his moral set to see what he's willing to do. Is he willing to cheat on his wife? Because if he's uncorruptible, if a man is uncorruptible, these girls can't do anything with him. But he is a doctor. He is a member of the Whitehouse Society. So he has already crossed lines for money. Now, I'm not saying every doctor out there is a corrupt doctor, so because I have doctors that watch the show. I'm saying that, well, you should know what I'm saying. I don't have to clarify, okay?
Now that depends where that is.
Well, let's find out.
And, of course, they cut back to the scene with the rainbow, because they're taking him to where the rainbow ends. Okay. So, anyways, I just never heard about this group before. And it made me think about that movie and many other things, when it comes to things that we know that are going on. And you have like this group, they literally in every state and every country around the world, collecting and grooming girls for roles. And I don't even know what to say about it. It's just insane. Like this girl, she plays the role of an astronaut. Not an astro. That's the role that she plays. Her name is Dottie Metcalf Lindenberger. Yeah. Do you know if that's the one, Jeremiah, that they claimed went down in Colombia?
I believe that this individual that we're looking at on the screen now is from the younger
A
generation.
newer one. Okay. It may be.
That one from the 80s was a black-headed lady.
Was she? Okay, yeah. I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right. But she's playing a role because there ain't nobody, if nobody's told you yet, and I ain't talking to Jeremiah because he knows. I'm talking to anyone listening that don't know. There ain't nobody going to space. You can't go to space. Now, I know what they told you, but you can't go to space. It's a fantasy land like going to the end of the rainbow. You can't go there. There ain't no end to the rainbow. There is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, just like there is no space. Yeah, they can get things to consistently hang in the sky, look like satellites using different methods. But that's inside of our world and not outside. So, all right. So I'll probably spend enough time on that, and I really want to hear some of what Jeremiah has to say about what's been going on in his life. So, if you would, Jeremiah, do you mind us switching and kind of talking about some of the things that you wanted to talk about?
Sure, Daniel. Sure. Thanks again for having me and let me sit in. I'm having a pretty good time and enjoying this stuff as an actual conversation instead of just listening. That's pretty neat.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say this before I start with the stuff. Back when I was in school, they taught us about the satelloons, the weather balloons that they had to use back in the day,
Uh-huh.
back in like the 50s, and how they'd catch them with the airplanes, and they were like, yeah, that's all they could do back then. But they didn't go as far as to say that's all you can do now. But I mean, come
Mm-hmm.
on, you know. I mean, it all that is what it is because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me on a personal, direct level, other than just to know that it's a big deception.
Yeah.
But so everything is. So once you accept that, like almost everything is potentially the exact opposite of what you were told, then life gets a whole lot easier. I
Yeah.
mean,
You
I
think
gotta
it
tell
gets
you,
more
like
complicated.
if you're thankful, right? Like if you're just thankful for everything that you've got, and you're doing your best to do God's will, and like you're where He's put you at, and you're being there in the moment, then like are they going to space? Are they not going to? I'm never going to get to go. So that's kind of where I'm like, all right. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't trust anything that they say, and I'm with you. I think that it's a fantasy situation, just for the record, for what it's worth. I'm open minded. If they took me up in a spaceship, I suppose I could be convinced if they took me far enough. But how
Right.
far is far enough? They already told us the moon's inside the atmosphere. Like there's little microscopic particles out there of air, so it's not technically in outer space, right? So how long till like, oh, by the way, Jupiter's in the atmosphere too? I mean, where does it stop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a comment in the comments from Frank Walls. He says, I live next to the Space Center. And he says, not one rocket or shuttle has ever left our atmosphere. So that's coming from
See,
Frank that lives next to the Space Center. And
there's
I
somebody
live.
right there that'll tell you.
Have you seen Jeremiah? You've spent time in Georgia. Have you ever seen one of the SpaceX rockets coming across parallel to the ground?
You know what? I was actually about to say something about this exact thing because here's the thing, Daniel. I have to take one of my family members has to go to dialysis 3 days a week, and I have to pick him up at 5 a.m. from his house and take him to town, which is like 25 minutes away.
Uh-huh.
So before I get back to the house, it's still dark outside. Now, one morning recently, coming back from dialysis, I could see this streak, like a snake, giant snake.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought it was a trail, but it was still dark outside and you shouldn't be able to see it
Almost looks like a
yet. And
comet,
yeah, maybe, or it
but
almost looks
larger.
like those dragons, the dragons in
Uh-huh.
parades that they run with, and they're long, looks like that.
Uh-huh.
So I fully get where the dragon in the sky concept would come from if people back in the day saw some plasma or a jet trail or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I saw this thing and I took a picture of it, and I showed one of my friends, and she saw on Facebook that someone in Georgia had also seen this thing and taken a picture, and they were much closer. And the explanation that was given by the weather people was that was what we were seeing was a SpaceX rocket launch.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, sir. To answer your question, I have allegedly, from
Yeah.
what they tell us, I've seen that, and I've seen them going over in the light train too. I mean, once
Yeah.
they're up there,
The
So
Starlink train thing, yeah, where they're
right,
flying and spreading out and
if
all that
that's
kind of stuff. Yeah. Um,
if that's what that's what they tell us, anyways.
yeah, that's what they tell us. What they're doing
I mean,
is
out here where I'm at night, you can see the Big Dip. You can see the what they say is the Milky Way galaxy.
right.
You can get pictures of it and see the tear. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Um, Frank said also that he was a member of the U.S. Air Force, a veteran of that as well. So
Oh,
he's
cool,
got
man.
some experience there. And
Yeah, I'll bet there's some interesting stories.
he says, I have seen where the rocket hit the firmament. I don't know if he's referring to that rocket that I've seen a video of where they launched it straight up. And
Mm-hmm.
and it
That
went
little
up.
model rocket.
Yeah, it was big, but it wasn't like SpaceX size, but it shot straight up.
Right.
And as it went straight up, and it was hauling tail and spinning really fast. And then all of a sudden, it for lack of better words, it splashed down or splashed up,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you'd say. Because
Mm-hmm.
everything about what you're looking at when you see that is that it hit a type of fluid, and it didn't break the
Mm-hmm.
rocket, but it stopped it virtually instantly, yet without breaking it, which is really interesting too.
Right.
Um, so
Uh-huh.
yeah, space is it like that song says, space might be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. And it
Mm-hmm.
is Disney, Disney and the Space Center down there are literally right beside each other. Within a,
Right, they are.
yeah, so you got the biggest
And
movie studio in the world right next to the biggest movie studio in the world, or deception studio
right,
in
and
the world.
Universal Studios as well.
Yep, Universal there
And
too.
when I was a little boy, we went to Disney World, and I believe I was in like the fourth or the fifth grade, and so I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. And when I got there, it was real set up for to gear towards everyone that Disney World, particularly Epcot Center, was like it wasn't just a magic place. It was a future and like state of the art place. Like the Tomorrowland was supposed to be like the vision of the future from the 60s. But it was like it was supposed to, in my mind, even back then, it was like this is supposed to tear down the difference between the science and the magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
even as a little kid, I was like, man, they're mixing the science with the magic with this one, because this is the Epcot Center is like this big thing you go inside of that has a ride that's like showing you like the space race and all that kind of stuff. So it's hitting you with the stuff right there, the propaganda just right off the bat.
Yeah. Yep.
Or back
Consistently.
then.
Yep. Indeed. Well, Jeremiah, tell us, because I know you have some notes and some maybe some events that happened. Tell us one of your
Yes.
supernatural events that has taken place in your life, if you don't mind, sir.
All right, all right. I'll give you one, and then I'll give you some like day by day stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the story, the main. This is just sort of the first one that jumped out at me is about an unplugged radio, and the radio turned on in the middle of the night, and so we were all asleep,
So this
and this
happened to you.
radio
This
was.
happened to you.
Oh yes, apologies.
Okay.
Yes, this happened to
Okay.
me approximately 23 years ago. So it was about 2002, maybe
Okay.
2003. And this radio was not plugged into the wall. And in the middle of the night, it woke everyone up. And I couldn't get the radio to turn off. And I looked around behind it as I was just going to unplug it, And I looked around behind it to unplug it. And it wasn't plugged in. And once I noticed that, the radio stopped. And the only people that would ever believe that were the people that were in the house with me. And I totally understand that.
Yeah. Right. Well, I believe you because
But
I've had
there was
supernatural
no
things
getting
happen.
around it. Right, when stuff like that happens, I mean, you can either address it and acknowledge it, or you can just bury it away. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Pretend like
something
it didn't
that's
happen.
right. It's something you put away and just go on about your business.
I hear.
And
Hold that thought just a second, Jeremiah. We've got
sure.
Shannon has showed up with us. So let me get Shannon.
Hi.
What's happening, Shannon? Oh, it looks like you're already turned
Hey.
on. I was already ready for you. Imagine that.
Yeah. Hi. I have been listening the last several minutes, just so you know. So
Yeah,
I
I've
am.
seen you in the comments as well. Thank you for being here, Shannon. What's happening?
Of course, I am just, listening to all of this stuff and excited to hear all what you have to say, Jeremiah. This is a cool conversation. But yeah, not
very
really
nice.
anything that exciting. Just here.
Well,
How's it going, Shannon?
I am good. How are you?
Jeremiah
I'm doing
is
great.
awesome.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So, okay, go
But
ahead,
please
Jeremiah.
continue.
Cheeseburger someone. It was not a CB radio. It was a AM FM, like a receiver that plugged into the amp of the old school home stereo systems that had stackable components. It kind of plugged into that. They plugged into each other. And the interesting thing is, the radio was plugged into the main amp receiver part, and the receiver part is what powered all of that, and that is what was not plugged in. So I thought that maybe some type of a voltage could have gone into that amp because it was just only an amp. You know, those old systems had just the amp that you cut the power on and it would run everything. So maybe something got into that and, you know, set it all off. I don't know.
So
You know,
this had
I'm not a
freestanding
ghost
speakers.
scientist.
Did it
Yes, freestanding speakers and separate components.
separate components, but one plug that plugged in it and powered it all?
Right.
One plug, and it wasn't plugged in.
Hmm.
Wow.
Right, and it was not plugged in.
Well, first off, I believe you. And I've had a few little situations like that when something's working when it's not supposed to be working. But
Uh huh.
a radio coming on, you think, okay, it's like, how can you something power that? But the thing is that we know enough about EMFs and we know enough about radio being based off of the vibration of crystals, you know,
Hmm.
that, I mean, we've got like lights on Teslas and lights on all kind of cars around the world and lights on the gas station signs, you know, blinking off and on and doing all this kind of phenomenon that's been going on for about a year now. And so,
Hmm.
about what year was this in, Jeremiah? Do you
Early
remember?
2000s,
Early 2000s.
2002, 2003.
Okay. Well, it's been a while. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
It's been a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it's a supernatural happening for sure. Did anything else happen around that same time that you noticed, or was there anything on the radio
Oh well,
playing?
I you know what's I don't even remember the music that was playing. It was the
Okay.
radio station that it would come on to. You know, just middle of the night.
And it did this
Um,
once?
Around that time, yeah, it only did it that one time, just that one time ever
Okay.
that I'm aware of. You know, that I caught
Right.
it doing it. Now that being said, there's been a string of little minor stuff like my entire life, so it's not that surprising when something unusual would happen like that. For instance, I typically know when specific people are about to call me or send me a text message, even if I haven't talked to them in years. I had that happen a couple of times over the summer, and I could almost I could tell when I had the feeling like about when in the year it was going to be, and like that's when it turned out to be. Like I had a feeling in say like May I was going to get contacted by someone I hadn't talked to in years, and then in October, which I had predicted between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and before Thanksgiving, like right around the end of October, that's when I got contacted. So also I can usually tell whenever if I'm going too fast. I usually know when it's time for me to need to slow down to avoid a speeding ticket if, for instance, I might be going too fast. And
Mm-hmm.
I've only had I've had one speeding ticket in my entire life, and I don't drive real fast. But
So
when
are
I
you
listen to that,
recognizing the speed, or are you recognizing that there's a opposing presence near you?
that's a good question, and I don't have an answer for that. If it's me recognizing the speed that I need to slow down, or if there's some detection of me happening, and I also don't. Sometimes I get that feeling that I need to slow down, and there's nothing. So babe, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. What the other circumstances could be. I can't make a claim to having like a radar, but it has served me well. But also, I get lots of intuitions that I follow, and when I don't follow the intuition, there's generally very, very negative consequences. And when I do follow the intuitions, it seems like stuff's easier, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that it's closer to the alignment of what God would want for me to do. Is that maybe that's what your intuition is God talking to you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you
I've
know,
had a number
uh,
of situations where I remember one time when YouTube had terminated my channel, and I was behind on the payments on this car that I was trying to buy, and
hmm
I was standing at a um, Miss Kim was working at a gas station, and I was standing in front of the gas station, not far from the car. I was like a car length away. I was standing on the edge on the step of the gas station to go inside. And I'm standing there, and there's a tow truck that had pulled into the parking lot and was just driving across, and I weren't paying it no attention, because I was behind on the payments far enough that, they could be coming to get it, right? So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I call it being shook. It's like somebody grabbing you and shaking you and saying, "Wake up!" And so you look around to pay attention to what's going on. And I remember getting shook and realizing that the tow truck and the tow truck driver was looking at the car, and I was standing far enough away from it that he probably wasn't sure if it was mine or not, but he was looking at the car, and and I got shook. Now it's like, are you saying God told you that your car was going to be repoed? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I got shook and made aware of a situation where there was an opposing force. Because I make an effort when I go out in public, and whether I'm driving or whether I'm or just wherever I'm in public, I always pray, and I say, Father, I'm going go so and so wherever I'm going, and I said, and I'll say something like, Father, please make me invisible, or make the minds of the person that's opposing me or anyone that would come against me be misdirected and sent away. And then I say, I recognize your presence and authority, Father, and I thank you. And that's all I say. And, well, I haven't had a driver's license basically in about, I'd had one a little while for about a year once, but about 15 years. No driver's license, and I still drive sometimes. I don't like, when I drive, I need to go take care of something. I don't drive for fun or leisure. I drive when I need to go take care of something. But I always pray, and I'm always made aware when there's an opposing force. But I ask for it, for this to happen, for them to be misdirected and sent away, or in worst case scenario, to make me invisible. Because I imagine you've heard me tell my story, Jeremiah, about sitting in the bar and hearing the voice, get up and walk out now, that one really taught me that Father is right there, but we got to recognize him, and we got to recognize that we have these abilities, but we need to be in Father's grace in order for it to work well, at least.
Right.
So anyways, go for
I had about the same thing happen about the story that you tell about the bar, but I didn't listen to the voice. And that taught me, listen to the voice. Listen to the voice, dummy. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll listen to the voice.
I was talking to Jesse Howell. He's a someone who has done a lot of putting out videos and this and that and the other, and he's joining the Supernatural Show Network, and I'm working him through the process right now. But I was talking to him the other day, and he told me he was in, let's see, where was it? He was in the military. He was in the Middle East somewheres, and he was in civilian clothes, and there were the military of the so-called enemy showed up. There were a bunch of them, and they had all their guns, and they were decked out, and they had their automatic weapons hanging on their shoulders and all this kind of stuff. And he's in this bar, and they come in, and they're walking in, and he's sitting in there, and he's like freaking out because he is scared that they're not going to like this Canadian white dude sitting in their bar, and him and another guy that was sitting there beside him, were freaking out about it, him and another white guy. And he was saying, he told me, he said, I literally had to go to the bathroom terrible. We were trying to just sit there and not do anything. He said, but I had to go to the bathroom terrible. And the guy sitting beside him said, just go over there and sit next to that plant and just pee in the plant. He said, are you trying to get me killed? You know, something like that. I ain't peeing in the plant. He said, or something like he just had this calm come over him and said, just go to the bathroom, you know? And so he just got up, walked, you know, mingling through all these supposed enemy soldiers, went into the bathroom, and he said he just was, when he started talking to any of them, he said, hey, I'm Canada Jesse. I'm Canada Jesse. What's happening? I'm Canada Jesse. And he's like fist bumping all these soldiers from whatever country he was in. I can't remember. And then after he did that, he said it was like he was protected. And he said he walked out, and then they got ready to leave, and the other guy was still scared. But he said, I'm walking out. And he goes to walk out of the place, and there was an underground, I think he said underground tunnel that he had to walk down and go through. And there were all these soldiers lined up in there in the tunnel with their guns and all this stuff. And he said he just went down the line fist bumping them. I'm Canada Jesse. I'm Canada Jesse. And just kept right on walking, just like no big deal. But apparently there was a reason that it was a big deal. You didn't want to get caught in certain places by these guys, but he was totally protected. And, you know, amazing things. But when you allow fear to creep in, you really got a problem then. Because it's like,
That's
you can
exactly right.
can tell, like if you're in a situation and somebody is frightened, it's like on them like spilt milk. You know, you can tell.
Right. There's a stink.
You know, just like dogs can sense when somebody fears them. You know, and
right.
Losing that fear and learning to control those emotions is truly a powerful thing. And we can use that in our
It absolutely is
everyday lives. Yep, I agree.
I mean, that's an important lesson for everybody to learn right there. Is that not having fear is the biggest step in the right direction that you could probably have, because so much of the stuff that we do or don't do is just being afraid or not, you know.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of synchronicity and the intricate ways that the universe and reality work together to sort of make everything happen, and how we're all just little gears in this machine, you know.
Yep.
And if you take out one of those gears, the whole machine might break, you know. So if you're afraid, then you might be preventing your gear from spinning the way that it would spin to make the most beautiful version of your reality, of your life and the people around you that you could, you know.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, learning to control. I learned, it's been quite a while now, but I learned you can snap out of any emotion that you're experiencing. It takes practice, but you can snap out of it, like fear or Shannon?
I would like to interject and say,
Sure.
for males, that is a much easier thing than females.
Yeah, maybe.
As our hormones play a big factor in a lot of our emotional response. And so that can be a little bit more difficult for us women, especially as we get older or we go through different changes. But when you eat things and take in things into your body that are natural and help to, you know, quell the insanity that those hormones can play, which a lot of that is built into the foods that we eat, you know, to mess with the hormones for both male and women, males and females. I can talk, but but the thing to remember is, for us women out there, especially when it is that we're trying to control or have some kind of power over our emotional response, just just remember to try to eat more healthy and natural organic things and to get away from those processed foods, because those are going to make your hormones insane and your emotional response is going to be 10 times worse than what it could be. So I just kind of wanted to add that in there, because for you guys it's a lot easier said than done than with us. So I just kind of
But I
wanted to
believe
throw
it
that
is
out there.
possible.
Oh, 100%. That's why I say, taking care of yourself with better things, less process, less plastics, your hormone levels will be much more manageable, especially for us women. So I just kind of wanted to add that in there. It's totally possible,
Well, women pretty
but
much have it rougher in most categories, like the extreme pains y'all guys have to deal with, and, with childbirth and the emotional fluctuations that y'all guys have to deal with and go through. I mean, women have it in some ways a lot worse than men do, in quite a few ways, really. I mean, if we're being honest.
Yeah, not to mention that even if you're not open to the idea that you may or may not be being systematically, if not poisoned, at least affected by the stuff in the environment, you wouldn't even know where to start with how to fix that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, and again, and I mentioned this too, that it affects the males much more than you think. These processed foods and plastics,
Mm-hmm.
that has a lot to do with a lot of the confusion in
Uh-huh.
in the world today on
Mm-hmm.
the genders and
Sure.
everything. But just to reiterate that it is totally possible, but having patience with us females on that level, there are ways to use our emotional capacities in the right manner
You get
if
them
we
focused in the
put
right
it.
direction, and
Yeah, if we get it
powerful.
focused.
Yeah. Shannon,
Exactly.
do you mind? I got to step away from the mic for just a minute. Will you continue with Jeremiah, and I'll be right back?
Of
All right.
course.
I'll be right back in just a minute,
Awesome.
guys.
Take your time, Daniel. What's up, Shannon?
And just been listening to your awesome stories. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us while we're
Let me see
here?
here. Oh yeah, sure. I'll jump into this, especially since the more of the sort of the feminine side of the supernatural show has talked a little more about this to my knowledge. The gifted program.
Oh, yes.
Um, I was born in '81.
Me
Graduated in
too.
2000. Hey,
I was,
awesome. What's up?
no way. I
Yeah.
graduated in 99, though. What month were you
Oh, nice. Well,
born?
I got a late birthday. My birthday was this past Sunday. So
Well, happy
I got
birthday.
into the. Oh yeah, well hey, thanks. It's also my grandmother's birthday too on that same day, so it's like it's way more about her birthday than my birthday. Because
That's okay.
she turned 91. She
Yeah,
turned 91, and we're happy about that.
that's impressive.
And she's still got the majority of the wits about her, and she's sharp and everything. So like, I mean, it's a blessing to have somebody that's got that much information.
Oh,
You
that
know.
is awesome.
Um,
But yeah, so
yeah.
you were
So
born in
I
81.
was born in '81, and up until the second grade, I was in like the low reading group,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Like there was like three
Yes.
reading groups in our class, and so I was like in the bottom one. And then somehow they figured out and took me in to test me, and I went to the thing with the people. It was
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was my guidance counselor and maybe my principal that were sitting there doing the thing, but did all the tests and got put into that program, and there were probably about a dozen of us in my grade that were in that program. There was two schools in my town, so I went to one school and we had our own program, and they had their own over in their school. And at my school in my grade there was about a dozen of us, and I gotta tell you that out of all of those people that were in the gifted program, they are all, I'm going to say without exception, because I can't think of a single one, they are all wildly, wildly successful in their fields, like industry known in their individual respective, whether it's engineering or architecture or fluid dynamics, or like they started a business or whatever it was. They all went out there and they crushed it, man. So they were. Oh,
Do
go ahead.
you, do you feel like you were more of a neurodivergent in that particular area, that maybe you weren't as compliant maybe as the other students that ended up, with these amazing crazy careers?
Yes,
Because like
100%.
because I know, like, me and Roxy, we've talked about this many times, to where we were not, we we had all those gifts. They put us in these programs, but we spoke out or asked too many questions or things
Yes.
along those lines. So at least, especially in my area of, and of knowledge, because I have a lot of family members who
Mm-hmm.
are in big time things, I
Uh-huh.
ended up, instead of going down those routes, going, no way, I'm not doing it. I don't comply. And so I
Uh-huh.
know I've struggled a lot more in my careers than, say, others that I know had the same kind of thing that your co students also did. Man, I have such a hard time
Yes.
talking today.
For for sure, am definitely what you would consider non-compliant. And I would say now a bunch of the people that I was in the program with, or several of the dudes that I was in the program with, like they all are also like I'm a musician, and they're also
Me
musicians,
too.
and they make really good music. They made some awesome songs, like they did really good. So like if and so I do that as well, but I'm non-compliant to the point of like I don't want to cooperate with I
No, I got
if you
you.
do stuff, people people approach you about stuff, and if you do that stuff, then you're on the hook now. And
No, exactly.
uh,
Because I'm still working on my album. We're doing things underground. Not,
nice, yes,
my producer tried to get me into a lot of the Hollywood stuff in the music industry, but both him and I are not into that. So there are a lot of things that were offered but turned down. And because of
uh huh,
that, I struggle to get anything out there. But hey,
right,
I would much rather be true to myself and true to God and
right,
all of that than sing about stuff that's black magic. you
that's
know?
right. We do it on our terms,
That's
and
right.
that means that there's stuff that there's lines, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, but it does seem to necessarily sort of limit. And this is in any aspect of your life. I mean, for instance, back whenever the stuff was happening a few years ago, and there were mask situations. Like I took the fall on a mask situation. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just for work. Like that was just a like basically a minimum wage job that I was like, yep, nope, I'm out. So it carries over.
It
I'm
does.
cantankerous or whatever, but let me see here. What else was there? Yes. As a gifted person, I never had to study too much. Wasn't real good at that. Still not extra good at studying. People try to get me to help them study, and I can't because I don't do it like they do. Um, let's see. Sometimes I've had dreams that happen on more than one occasion. I've had dreams that happen. Uh,
Do you
let's
ever
see.
find
Oh, when
yourself
I write
in,
songs.
right?
Like when I write songs, you'll understand this as a musician. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. It's not like I'm actually making it up. It's like I'm an antenna, and I
Right.
get this idea, and the whole song hits me, and it's all right there. Like any song that I've ever done that was any good that I like is like I didn't do that, and that's why I like it.
Right.
you know,
No, I know, because
and
especially we're always our own worst critic, and it's usually songs that no one else would really like that I like, but you could tell the Holy Spirit is filled in that song,
right,
So I get it. I
exactly.
get
There's no way I did it because it's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
all glory to the Most High. Woo!
Right. Exactly. And I say all of that from the gifted point forward, just to say that I know a lot of the people that are into this kind of stuff are right there with me, and they're picking up what I'm laying down. That this is not a unique and individual experience to me. This may, in fact, be something that everybody's getting, but just not everyone sees, or it could be just only for the people that see it. But either way, we see it, and I see all of y'all, man. Like we're all in this together, and we all see this crazy stuff that's happening that nobody wants to see. I get it.
Well, we we were given a choice, just like many others, to choose which master we are going to serve. And
Right.
a lot of people don't even realize that they're choosing this in their everyday lives. And that makes a difference. And whether or not there's people out there on a mass scale listening, it doesn't matter, because those who God calls to listen are the ones that are going to understand. And hopefully they
Exactly
can
right.
help spread that, amongst those people who they are around. But just knowing that there is opposition to us makes me feel good, because I know that
Right.
I'm on the right side of things.
Exactly. Exactly. If we weren't bothersome, then there wouldn't be pushback.
Exactly. Like, to be that successful would worry me, because what am
Yes.
I doing?
Right.
What God did I choose to get these millions of dollars? Not to say that God won't bless people in that
Right.
capacity, but they're those types of people who won't buy the Armani suit. They would go and give that money to a village that needs a well drilled or something. There's a difference.
Exactly.
Like, I don't
I
know if
think
you've
that.
ever heard of the curse of the lottery, right? All
Right.
these
Uh huh.
people who win the lottery, 9 times out of 10, their lives are just absolutely destroyed. And it's like it's a curse. But there are those very few exceptional people who end up winning the lottery who don't have a cursed existence, because they end up giving it to people who actually need it. And I feel like
Yes.
that's the
Maybe
key, to
you really
break
win the
that
lottery
curse.
when you give it all. Like you really win the lottery when it just
Yeah,
passes right through you and out the door.
exactly. To those who in need, and that
Yes.
to me is more of a gift than being some kind of millionaire or
I
whatever.
knew,
But
I knew a
Yes.
guy.
And
When,
and Shannon, one
huh,
last thing. Hey Daniel, what's up? I hear you're back. I'll
Mhm.
let you take back over in a second here.
Okay.
One last thing is I wanted to say is that as I'm putting down words that come, I'm going to say through me for lack of a better term. I've made a conscious decision that I have conversed with between myself and the creator almost pretty much on a daily basis, basically, that I will not make any of this for selfish purposes. Anything
amen.
that comes through me is intended to be for a message for to help someone. Like maybe it helps me when I hear it. Because like it didn't exist and I heard it and it exists now and that's good. But like maybe it helps somebody else too. I make that agreement every day again with myself just to make sure that hey, are we still on the same page? So if a song does
Right.
come through again, then I'm not going to be looking at it the wrong way or even trying. As a result, I never sit down and try to write anything because if
Right.
I try to do it, then that's me doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anybody that's listening that has that if you're a creative person, just remember you're not making this for money unless you are. But if you're not making it for money and you're making it to uplift yourself and other people, then there's beauty in that right there. And maybe that is exactly why you're making it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Lots of
And I'm just a guy from
creative.
Alabama, so I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's just my two.
No,
No, I
don't
think you
step.
are onto something.
Yeah, don't step backwards, Jeremiah. You're a very wise man, I can tell. And I've
Well,
been
I
very,
appreciate you, sir.
very blessed to have you here. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to
Yes,
say
thank
that
y'all.
we're gonna have to have you back again. So,
Yay!
Because
Oh wow. Well,
we've got each other's cell phone numbers now. So, would you be
yes,
willing
sir.
to come back again and talk with us some more?
Yes, sir. I mean, I got more stuff written down.
Right. Yeah. But we're not going to get to it
So
today.
sure.
But I know we've got a lot more to talk about. And we really didn't give you
Yes, sir.
directly a lot of time to talk about your experiences. And I know people want to hear it.
No,
And I want to hear
it was
it.
perfect and it was amazing.
And I want to
Thank
hear
you.
it.
I feel good for going into the weekend like I've talked about some stuff,
Yeah. You have your voice today has been heard all around our world in many, many locations, many
Awesome.
more than you know. I know that there are people listening in most of the countries around the world, if they have access to the so-called free internet, that we're being broadcast in a lot of places. We're live on 10 platforms right now. And in those platforms, you get so many here, so many there, and more here and more there. But we are broadcasting all around the world right now. And I would love
I
to
sure
have you
am
back
thankful
on
for
here
y'all
again.
hearing me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would love to have you on my show at some point to talk
There you go,
about the
too.
music industry. That would be
Sure,
awesome.
Shannon.
We could do a
Yeah,
whole
man, that'd be.
show just
I,
on that.
Is
I've
that
been considering like I don't really get much traction on any songs really, but like I've just been considering starting to talk if this went well and people liked anything that I had to say. Like maybe I would just like do a channel and then we could, I could have you on my show.
indeed?
Let's do it.
Maybe you could even be part of the Supernatural Show Network there, Jeremiah.
Well,
Hey.
let's do it one step at a time, But I mean, I like this. This was fun, I like this part of
Yep. Yep. Well, you need to always take time and really ponder, and don't allow anybody, including myself, to over influence you in any
Right.
direction. You take the time and you decide, because you're the one that has to live with the results of your actions. So,
Right. Well, it's always going to be a
but
prayer thing, anyways. But
with that said, I do
I
want
do.
to have you back on.
Well, thank you, and I will. I agree right now. I will come back.
All right. Awesome.
Yay.
And then Shannon and Roxy will probably be after you too, as you can see,
Yes.
because you're a very
Well, that's cool too, man. And it was so nice to meet Shannon too, man. I'm glad I got to meet you, Shannon.
I'm glad I got to come on. I tried to get here as fast as I could.
And
got the tail end.
Canada Jesse will probably he's going to be looking to interview people too as well, I'm sure. So y'all guys out there listening, you got to get rid of this fear of talking. It's time to tell the truth in this world. It's time to tell the truth. It's like when the Bible talks about when they come against you and threatening to cut your head off, you still got to be willing to speak. And this is a lot lighter sentence than that. Ain't nobody threatening to cut your head off, but we've got to start talking, because they're doing it. They've got so many,
Right.
so absolutely thousands of these creators that they've got doing video, and then they've got AI doing all these videos, and they're just flooding the platforms with that kind of content. And it sounds like truth, it smells like truth, but once you swallow it, it's going to be bitter in the stomach. And
Yep.
I call it
Yes.
weaponized truth.
Speaking of the coming flood of AI,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to shamelessly plug David Beverly Sr.'s book one more time, The Coming Flood of AI, The Rise of the Nephilim Spirits.
And David's going to be joining us on the Supernatural Show Network as well, coming this spring, when he's retiring from his position he's currently in, when he has more time.
I am so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
Where can they get David's book at, The Coming Flood of AI?
You can purchase it on Amazon, and you can also purchase it on Jesus Freak Computer Geek's website, but I believe the website just directs you to Amazon. So, but I believe his website is called The Coming Flood of AI, but I don't quote me on that. But anyways, you can find it on Amazon. And hey, we're doing a giveaway, Roxy and I, for people this month who are newly subscribed to either of our channels, the Roxy Files or Children of the Most High. I have 3 of these awesome books to give out to you guys. And so there will be some winners at the end of the month to get this book. And to up the ante, David decided that if you guys, anybody who already owns a copy or receives a copy from this giveaway, if you put in a review on Amazon, you are in the running for a free laptop that already is preloaded with Bible studies and all kinds of fun stuff that David put in. So it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Excellent. So, guys, we are very glad and happy that y'all guys joined us here, meaning you, the viewers, the one that we're here for. So thank you very much for being here with us today. And also thank you to Jeremiah for taking the time out and for committing that he's going to come back and talk to us again one day. And
thank y'all for having me.
You know, and thank you, of course, Shannon, for driving 90 mile an hour to get home. And
I didn't drive that bad, I swear. Well, you know what? Thank you, Daniel, because if it weren't for you, this this shy girl over here with the tech, I wouldn't say I'm shy completely, but when it comes to any of this computer stuff, I would not be where I am today if it weren't for you pushing me and, you know, praying with me and being my bestie and introducing me to Roxy, my other bestie. So I just wanted to say thank you for believing in me.
Oh,
yeah. That's beautiful.
You've been an awesome asset to the body of Christ, because that's what we're doing. We're building the body of Christ, and it takes all of us in order to build the body, because we are the temple, aka the body that is built without hands. And so,
I am more than honored to be a part of this. And I just wanted to thank you and Miss Kim and everybody on our team.
And thank you, Roxy, too, even though she wasn't feeling good today.
Especially thank you to Roxy, which is my right-hand man. And without her, it's pretty funny. I mean, I'm very comical without her. Maybe not in a good way, but...
She's laughing at least.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Got a little quick ad spot to play, and then the extra will play after that. Thanks again, Jeremiah, for being here with us. And we'll see y'all guys on Monday, if not sooner, for the Supernatural Show on Monday. On Tuesdays, because we run 5 days a week at least, on Tuesday, it will be the Roxy Files on Tuesday evenings. And on Wednesday, it will be Logic Before Authority. Thursday, it will be the Children of the Most High. And Friday will be the Supernatural Show. And I'm going to be adding 2 more days a week where I'm going to do something on the Logic Before Authority channel as well, whether it's reading and discerning something or something along those lines that doesn't take as much research and prep work. So I'm going to pick up a couple of more show spots, just so you guys know, just like I did yesterday. I love you. Thank you to everybody. And we'll see you Monday, if not sooner. Throughout all history of mankind, man has built anything he could dream of. Achievements that seemed impossible then, and even now. Sometimes against extreme odds and adversities. Yet, if man believes hard enough and has faith in his hands and in his mind, he can move mountains. He can achieve anything, yet not alone. He must have others that believe in his dream, others to help build the impossible. Some will always say, "You can't do that. Not now, not here." Yet with faith and perseverance, that man will find his people. He will find those too that are brave enough to dare to cut against the grain, to swim against the current of the waters, to build what others will mock and gnash their teeth as they see it rising from the dust of the earth. As they see the foundation go in, brick by brick, it shall be laid. Sweat, tears, and a few drips of blood mixed in with the dust and the clay. Another man once had such a dream. Jesus Christ had just that kind of dream, to speak and deliver a message to the entire world, not just in the time that he walked this land, but a message that would echo throughout lands and times, landing upon our ears even today. How many did not believe in his dream? How many thought that he was pretending to be something he was not? How many wanted him to fail? Yet he did not fail. Why? He gathered a core group of people that believed in him and believed in his words, works, and the fruits thereof. He built a solid foundation of supporters, and upon that foundation, he raised a temple built without hands, called the body of Christ. We at the Supernatural Show Network know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And yes, we have just such a dream to build, and it all starts with you. The foundation, shod with the gospel of peace. The placing of the symbolic bricks, blocks, and cornerstones, each one held symbolically in place by great belief and faith that what is being built here is righteous and faithful. Once the foundation is laid, brick by each of you, then we will raise the symbolic walls girt about with the truth. And then we will all begin to thrive successfully. We will then place the trusses above our heads, in which we have trust and faith that their strength will hold back the fiery darts of the wicked and withstand the evil day, having done all to stand. From the laying of the first bricks, blocks, and cornerstones held in place by the chosen ones, and during the raising of the walls to laying of the trusses, we shall empower the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. We shall open our mouths boldly and make known the spirit of the gospel. If you trust in us and we trust in you, the gospel of truth will be heard across all of the lands and upon all of the ears. This dream will be built without hands, just as Christ proclaimed, for we strive to build this dream upon words of truth, words of righteousness, bringing together the great truth seekers and speakers from across the world, standing finally together as the prophesied body of Christ. Now stand, pick up and place thy brick, block, or cornerstone, and hold it fast in place with faith, knowing that thy will maintain the strength to hold it in its righteous place, knowing that you are part of the supernatural dream, to build a network and work shoulder to shoulder until we all reach our lofty goals, to let every ear that can hear to hear. We strive to have truth tellers speaking in every tongue, in every language, and every day and night, one unified voice speaking peace and truth across one unified network, the Supernatural Show Network. It's time. No more division. No more, there's nothing I can do. No more, I am alone. It's time to take each of our places in destiny. Welcome to the body of Christ. Place your foundation brick, block, or cornerstone now at thesupernatural.show.